Vicky, what happened to you? I sat frozen like a statue, miserable and on the brink of tears. He gazed long at me, reading the despair etched on my face. He broke the silence, speaking purposefully. Let me tell you why I picked you for the job. You have been preaching about equality, about what a woman can do. Now here's the opportunity. I believe in you. I believe you can do it. Whatever challenges you have, manpower or logistic problems, put them in writing, bring the document here, I will approve it. This was the encounter between Inspector General of Police Ibrahim Komasi and me in July 1994.
Oh God, please. Let this go well. Please.
I went to see him that morning with my confidence at low ebb. Before stepping into his office, I prayed silently for his understanding because I was going to turn down an assignment. I found him at his desk writing. Alhaji Kumasi wrote outstanding reports.
Sir, she's here.
If you think you are good at writing reports, and perhaps you spent a week on the one thinking you had perfected it, wait till Alhaji Kumasi turned it around. He was a stickler for great reports. When he sought officers for assignments, he would always ask, has he got a strong pen? A powerful pen was good report writing. That morning he was writing as usual, but he put aside his pen when I walked in looking miserable. You don't look like yourself, he said. Your color has changed and you are thin, he observed. It is good that he observed me well. Maybe he will give me a break and take the job off my hands. I was wrong. He started speaking to me philosophically, preaching about God, duty, and life. In this world, what you have to do, you have to do. What you have to do, you have to do it well. His pep talk left me with no room to maneuver. I left his office relieved. It was as if he lifted a burden off my shoulder. Back in my office, I wrote everything I needed. Vehicles, manpower, allowances, all I requested. He approved, and that gave birth to the Special Fraud Unit SFU, a new section of the Criminal Investigation Department, 4CID Alagbon.
Today we reclaim our streets. Every officer here knows the mission. We move as one.
My initial apprehension was not without reason. The 1990s was the inglorious era of advanced fee fraud. It was an age when 419ers were very powerful. Some of them moved around with escorts. Their flamboyance further accentuated their invisibility. The vice was a vogue. At the time, it had become a chronic crime. It was high time the government reined in the fraudsters. Special Fraud Units was the answer. I was still grappling with the enormity of the task when the police chief who headed 4CID compounded my fear. He had a confidential message, he hinted. It is strictly for your ears only. When I went to meet him, this was what he told me. I've been observing you and I could see you are a disciplined woman. You're a good person. I wouldn't want any harm to come to you. I can't comprehend why the IGP would send you to work in that sensitive place. IGP ought to know that advanced fee fraud is approved by the federal government as reparation for the slave trade. They would kill you if you try to obstruct them. If they don't kill you, they could disfigure your fine face with acid. I would not want any harm to happen to you. You have children and good career to protect. His words destabilized me. He was the first person to open my eyes to the dangerous waters I was about to step into. What do I do? He advised, I know you believe in hard work, but don't go there with the mindset that you have to work hard. If you do, you would be eliminated. Use your discretion. I found myself in a dilemma. Here I was stuck with a job for which I had little relish. Yet I could not back out. Every police officer was terrified of Alhaji Kumasi. The IGP was a tough nut. I was overwhelmed by fear, but desperation gave me the courage to face him just once to request that he rescind the appointment. But my husband cautioned, how will you tell him without implicating the person who told you this? After dilly-dallying for a month, during which I lost color and lost weight about 10 kilos because I wasn't sleeping and eating properly, I decided to see the IGP anyway. The outcome was beyond my expectations. He boosted my confidence with his soul-lifting talk. What's more, he handed me a carte blanche and a sweeping approval of operational resources. From that point on, there was no looking back. I went to work with determination and aggression, realizing that the story told to me by the head of the 4th CID on reparation was a cock and bull story.
This case, my dear, it has layers. Layers that some people would prefer remain undisturbed. Understand?
The biggest challenge before the SFU in the prosecution of 419 cases was the lack of witnesses. It was a major stumbling block to prosecution. The 419ers, after defrauding their victims, planted fears in their minds. If you set foot in Nigeria, we'll eliminate you and your entire family. We know where your kindreds are, was their typical threat. We were stalled for some time without any significant progress. Eventually, a breakthrough came in the form of a German called Farida Springbeck. After she was defrauded in Germany, she rallied other victims to form an association and became the president of German Victims of 419ers. When she heard about the SFU, she traveled to Nigeria to see me. We agreed to partner to form a united front against the fraudsters. My demand was, bring me witnesses and I will help you. Springbeck agreed but requested a signed undertaking guaranteeing the safety of witnesses. I took the bait, ready to brave the challenge. From that moment, SFU was in business. Witnesses flew into the country and were met at the airport by my officers, who would take them to their hotel and stay put with them. 2 armed detectives assigned to the witnesses stayed in the same room with them. We changed the hotel the next day or 2 days at most. This procedure so frightened some of the witnesses that they turned pale and fidgety. One witness was so terrified he made frequent trips to the toilet in my office. Their fears were no exaggerations.
All units, report status.
Perimeter secure. Maintain vigilance.
The 419ers were deadly. Some foreign victims were killed, including one at a major hotel in Lagos whose body was grossly disfigured by acid. We did not let down our guard until the witnesses were no longer in our care. They had heavy security around them all the way to the airport until they boarded their flights home. We were too far from the days of mobile telephony, so I would wait for the news from their operatives that the plane had taken off before I could go to sleep. Each success recorded by SFU gulped a great deal of money. British, Americans, and Germans were the primary victims. Americans especially. To our astonishment, the Chinese were hardly defrauded, not for lack of trying though. They were just tough customers. Scam mails sent by 419ers to the Chinese attracted abusive replies. Some of the insults were so waspish and acerbic. I wish I never read something like that in my life. We had a good partnership with the United States Secret Service, whose operatives went an extra mile. The operatives made frequent trips to Nigeria, armed with a top 10 list of fraudsters from their database to help root out, recce, and locate buildings from where scam emails emanated. Such houses were betrayed by telegraphic lines used to fax the mails. After compiling addresses, the Americans turned the operation over to us. SFU operatives usually struck in the wee hours of the morning, between 4 and 5 a.m. The Americans came along on those raids, sometimes backing us with their logistics and operational tools. Once there was a house in Surulere that we couldn't break open because of the way it was sealed up. The Americans went back to the embassy and returned with specialized tools that enabled us to open the house. In many ways, the Secret Service complimented our efforts and we commended them. Nonetheless, the job wasn't easy. We were fighting a Leviathan. At the time, advanced fee fraud was in its golden age, a period where 419 barons lived glamorously to the adoration of the society. The masterminds of these schemes were like shadows, difficult to apprehend. They operated from behind the scene, screened by an army of ignorant young people acting as couriers. Each time a gang was busted, the kingpin vanished without a trace, leaving behind a band of clueless young people who, upon arrest, were astonished to discover their activities were illegal. Alas, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Those caught on the act had to face the wrath of the law. That meant arrest, detention, and arraignment in court.